of course, I try to understand processes, through, writing. And these are some of the things I've been trying to write down, just to express my own, personal feelings about what has been going on, particularly the dance of absurdity which has been going on, in Kenya. It was very clear during the colonial era when you could say, obviously, the opposition was the good guy, and the government, whatever it was a bad guy. It was very clear. But in today's world, it may not always be that way. You can have a bad government, yes, but you cannot have an opposition movement, which is riddled with contradictions. During the colonial era, people tried to form political organizations, for instance, in Kenya. And by the way, what they call ethnicity or tribalism was invented by colonialism, generally. For instance, when in the colonial invasion of Kenya and other parts of Africa, the imperial armies would ally with one community against other communities. In other words, they employed the policy of divide and rule. So they would come and ally with one community, then they would go and invade another community, not because there was a dispute, but for the sake of conquest. And of course, this bitterness remained. Then after they established a colonial state, like in Kenya, they made sure that Africans within the territory would never form a social organization or political organization on national basis. They wanted every political organization to be, or social organization, to be on ethnic basis. In the case of Kenya, the white settlers could form a nationally based organization, but for Africans, they had to form political societies that stayed within the boundaries, of their, community. So the colonialists invented the term tribal wars, and later they invented the term tribalism as a way of defining African political realities. I just put the Kenyan context into the Kenyan history into a context. Kenya was ruled by the British, from about 1895 to 1963, when we got our independence through the armed struggle by Mau Mau. Legitimate. What is not legitimate, what is inexcusable and completely unacceptable is for politicians to use the occasion of a vote dispute to implement ethnic cleansing. Poor person, say a poor Luo in Kenya, and a poor Kikuyu, and a poor Kamba, say a poor of any one community is in the same identical position as a poor in any other community. A landless person is in the same position as any other landless position, irrespective of the community they come from. A worker and a small farmer are in the same identical position as a worker and a farmer in any other, community. So you don't instigate. So some landless farmers attack other landless farmers. Some poor people attack other poor people, or a worker attacking another worker, that's really what I'm against, because I'm for the unity of those forces. And it has to be a change in society. It's a change that enhances the lives, of ordinary people, And I've argued, not only about Kenya, but even here in the States and in the world, that for too long, development has been measured from the point of view of those who are at the top of the mountain. And my position has always been, and still will be, that development must be viewed from the standpoint of those who are at the bottom of the mountain. Because when you're at the top of the mountain, your view is very different from that of the person who is at the bottom of the mountain. But what you call progress or economic progress often means the progress of a few, a few social classes. It does not necessarily mean the economic betterment and social betterment of the person who is at the bottom of the mountain. This applies to Kenya, it applies to America, it applies. That's how I look at the world myself. And those at the top of the mountain, are they at the top of the mountain because they are climbing on the shoulders of those who are at the bottom of the mountain? Or it's the relationship then that becomes, that I critique.
Do you feel that it's possible to be educated by the colonizers and yet use the tools to dismantle the house?
People, because the real life that we live brings out the contradictions, they can also use the education to actually fight against what's negative in their experiences. So, for instance, if you read a text that tells you that you are not hungry, or your stomach is full, or whatever, but in reality your stomach is not full, or you are hungry, no amount of text will convince you that you are not hungry. So, mentally you may say, yes, the book is telling me that I'm not hungry, but the reality of being hungry tells you that the book is lying. Because you are still hungry. So the challenge we have in Kenya today is one of how shall we heal? How shall we bring the nation, together? How shall we reestablish trust between, the different, communities? I feel I've been in the thick of things generally, and that's why I've suffered the consequences of that position. There are always those forces, in Kenya who have never really liked, what, I stand for. But for me as a writer, I have always to call it, how I see it through my conscience.